Young horse has mastered lunging and is doing that very quietly and efficiently, and you've gone through the sacking out process, then you need to move in and introduce the saddle to this young horse so that you can go ahead and begin the actual riding process. What we're going to do now is we're going to introduce the saddle to this young horse that we're working with and see what kind of reaction we get out of her. The thing you need to remember to do when you're saddling a young horse is to remain very quiet and very patient with this horse. If the horse is in the least little bit tentative or maybe apprehensive of what's going on, then kind of slow down and let the horse see what's happening. Kind of introduce the blanket to her, let them sniff the blanket, let them know nothing's going to happen. And if you're doing this by yourself, then you can either tie the young horse up and tie a hind leg up as we've done in a previous videotape and do it by yourself, or you can have a person handle the young horse, which is what we're going to do here today. As I move down the side of this young horse, I want the handler to stay on the same side as me. That way, if anything happens, she can pull the horse away from me and away from her so that we stay out of danger. What I'm going to do is slide this blanket down this young horse, let him get used to it. We should not have any problem with this if we've done the sacking out process correctly. As I go to lay this blanket up over the top of her, I want to make sure I stay clear of her back and set it down gently on top of her back. I don't want to flop it down in any way that might scare her. I want to set it down nice and quiet, let her feel that weight kind of rub on her so that she becomes accustomed to it and nothing's going to happen to her. At the same time, your handler can be speaking to her, asking her to be quiet and calm. If she accepts the saddle pad without any problem, then you need to come over and get your saddle. When you get your saddle, you need to make sure that your girth and your stirrup that go on the off side are pulled up over the top of the saddle. You don't want to throw this saddle on top of her so that all this loose equipment here flops down on the off side, because if it were to spook her, she would jump sideways, jump on top of you, and that would just add to the problems you would have in your saddling process. Again, you want to stay close to the young horse as you're saddling. Let them see the saddle as it comes up. As you lift the saddle up, make sure you stay off the horse's back and then set it down on their back. Don't drop it on their back in any way. Set it down nice and gently. Move around the horse, again staying close. Come to the off side and gently lower the stirrup and the girth so that it does not flap against this offside. And again, if we've done the sacking out process correctly, this should not be any problem for this young horse up to this point. Then come back around to the other side so that you can actually start to tighten up the girth. As you reach under and pull it up, make sure that you don't pull it too tightly at first, because this may be a foreign feeling to this young horse when you start to pull something up tight against her girth. If you see here that this young horse is going to be too big around the middle for the girth, then back out slowly. Put your latigo back up. Go back over to the offside and let this girth out a little bit so that the girth fits comfortably when you pull it up around the middle. Again, come back around, staying nice and quiet and patient. If at any time you feel the horse tense up or begin to get a little nervous, then just slow down. Let the horse relax and then start again. There's no reason to push this horse at this time during the saddling process. Want her to stand nice and quiet. As we begin to saddle and start to tighten this girth up, we want to tighten it up easy. And this is the time you need to watch the young horse, because this is going to be a little bit of a foreign pressure of this girth tightening up around their middle. We do not want to tighten it up as tight as it will go the first time. We want to tighten it up just tight enough that the saddle won't fall off and won't slide underneath when we go to ride the horse and move the horse around. You can see this filly is a little bit apprehensive about what's going on. She kind of bowed up a little in her back here, and she's kind of blown out her middle as we went to saddle her. But she's still accepting the saddling process very quiet. Want to pull this saddle down, this stirrup down on the saddle, instead of letting it flop down on her side. The thing you need to be cautious of, once you get the saddle on like this, it's still not very tight. She's kind of loosened up some here. I'm going to tighten it up maybe a tad more, just taking what she will give me. But be cautious of when you lead the filly off or lead your young horse off the first time. Because when that first take that step, that's the likely time that they're going to buck, if they're going to buck when you lead them off. So when the handler leads them off, they need to be ready to kind of take hold of them and tell them whoa when they start off.